I had never made a call to Diddy, really? Yeah. I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
You feel strong enough about something, then you might put a little before you say exactly what you're saying.
For nearly 30 years, Sean Diddy Combs built a massive empire off pressure, power moves, and influence. He controlled rooms, checked rivals, and made sure everyone around him understood who was running things. Artists showed respect, played their roles, and treated the bad boy brand like it was untouchable. But there was one rapper he never went after. One artist who spent decades calling him out by name, throwing shots in verses and hinting at industry secrets. And somehow, Diddy never responded, not once. That rapper was Eminem, and there's a real reason Diddy stayed quiet. Most people thought M was just trolling or being provocative, but in reality, he was pointing out why Diddy couldn't move against him. This wasn't about sales, charts, or money. This went way deeper than rap. It came down to real backing, real protection, and a level of respect you can't buy. From the circles M was connected to refusing to play industry politics, to standing firm during some of the wildest eras in hip-hop, Eminem moved differently. Add 50 Cent's loyalty into the mix, and the picture starts to make sense. Every diss, every slick line, every eerie reference wasn't random. M was making one thing clear. He wasn't someone to test. That's the real reason Diddy never came at Eminem. And once you understand it, everything you thought you knew about both of them starts to flip. Before we break it all down, you need to understand what truly made Marshall Mathers different from everyone else in the game. This was never about charts or Grammy trophies. This was about something the industry almost never says out loud: real backing. The kind you can't buy, fake, or clean up with PR. Most artists who challenge a mogul like Diddy end up feeling it fast. Careers slow down, radio support dries up, and opportunities disappear. But Eminem was different. He had something money and influence couldn't touch. Something the industry machine couldn't just shut off. Support from people who didn't care about Billboard rankings or red carpets. That's where the real tension started. Eminem had connections to highly respected circles on the West Coast, including members of the Samoan community, most notably the Booyah tribe. These weren't industry insiders. These were people known for loyalty, structure, and respect earned outside the music business. When Eminem's manager, Paul Rosenberg, connected with Monster Gia from the regime, it wasn't about a deal or publicity. According to Gia, there were concerns about pressure Eminem was facing at the time. Not rumors, real issues that needed to be handled. That period led to the 2003 track 911 with Booyah Tribe and Be Real. But the song itself wasn't the point. The message was clear. Eminem wasn't standing alone. When certain people tried to make Eminem check in, that unwritten rule where artists acknowledge local authority or show respect, most celebrities would have folded, paid up, played along. Eminem didn't. He stood his ground. Once it became clear that pressing Eminem meant dealing with his Samoan allies, the situation cooled off. Word traveled fast through LA's hip-hop circles. Eminem wasn't just another artist to test. He had real backing and the confidence to stand on it. And Diddy, someone who understood power and pressure better than most, knew exactly what that meant. But the Samoan support was only part of the story. What really showed Eminem's mindset and sent a clear message to industry power players happened during a moment that's now legendary in hip-hop. Early 2000s, the In Da Club video shoot, one of the biggest moments of that era. The set was packed, cameras rolling, energy high. Then suddenly everything shifted. Suge showed up, uninvited, with a large group. According to people there, it wasn't a friendly visit. It was a power move. Suge's reputation alone was enough to make rooms go quiet. Tony Yayo later explained how tense it got. Even the game confirmed it on Vlad TV. This wasn't casual. It was Suge expecting everyone to step aside. Security froze. Industry execs didn't want problems. Most people backed off. But Eminem didn't. According to Tony Yayo, Eminem stood his ground and refused to be intimidated. And that moment said everything.
He had some Mexican niggas. Now, we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street crew. I'm like, what the f*** is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a f***, man. This is when I knew. I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real nigga. These niggas 50 niggas outside, what's up? And then nigga Suge just walked.
While others backed away from a man known for pressure tactics, industry blacklisting, and intimidation, Eminem didn't flinch. He didn't care about the reputation. He didn't care about the power behind the name. He stood his ground like someone who wasn't afraid of consequences. No theatrics, no posturing, no begging. Just calm confidence. The situation ended without anything popping off, but the message was clear. Eminem wasn't someone you could scare, press, or move around, and the industry never forgot that moment. Suge didn't leave because Eminem backed down. He left because pushing further meant bigger problems. At that point, it wasn't just about one rapper anymore. Escalating meant dealing with people who didn't care about industry status or past reputation. And trust this, Diddy was watching. He saw how Eminem handled one of the most feared figures in hip-hop without panic. No submission, no fear, just steady pressure. And that sent a clear message. This wasn't someone you could bully, control, or silence with industry tactics. Street backing and standing firm already set Eminem apart. But what really made Diddy hesitate came next. In the early 2000s, a powerful alliance formed. When Eminem signed 50 Cent to Shady Records in 2002, this wasn't just business. It was the pairing of two forces that balanced each other perfectly. Eminem's fearlessness with 50 Cent's real-world credibility. Together, they became something the industry couldn't intimidate.
Everything else happened because at that point, when you're saying that this is what's next and this is what you really believe in, who disagrees with you when you're selling 23 million records on the Marshall Mathers LP? You see what I'm saying? Everybody wants to do what you want to do at that point, and then because of his support, it got the right look, and I was able to have the largest debut in hip-hop.
50 Cent wasn't an industry plant or a lucky breakout. He came into the game with a real reputation, having survived serious attempts on his life and still coming back stronger. He had deep roots in New York and a name built on never backing down. When he linked up with Eminem, the industry paid attention fast. The message was simple. This wasn't a duo to test. What made the alliance especially serious for someone like Diddy wasn't just influence, it was loyalty. This wasn't a mentor situation you could disrupt with money or pressure. 50 respected Eminem as a person, not just an artist. That kind of loyalty can't be bought, and everyone at the top knew it. The respect went both ways. Over the years, 50 made it clear he was always ready to stand up for Eminem. Anyone coming at M wasn't dealing with one person, they were dealing with both. From public commentary to constant pressure, 50's presence worked like a shield around Eminem. From Diddy's perspective, going after Eminem would have meant instant conflict with both Eminem and 50 Cent at the same time. And that's not a simple rap back and forth. That's a collision with two of the most fearless and well-connected figures in hip-hop. They weren't just connected through music, they were backed by real credibility and unbreakable loyalty to each other. Diddy built influence using divide and pressure tactics, isolating people, cutting off support, and letting industry weight do the work. Eminem and 50 were the opposite, a solid front, no cracks, no price tag. That's what made the situation risky for Diddy. You couldn't buy them off, you couldn't scare them, and you definitely couldn't split them apart. With protection locked in and alliances firm, Eminem started doing what very few rappers dared to do consistently, calling Diddy out directly, again and again, louder over time. These weren't random jabs or throwaway lines, they were calculated, strategic.
Got a beautiful wife, kids, and a gorgeous home. What would make me jump in the tub with a cordless phone? I'm straight vicious, I hit you with plates and dishes, leave you with 8 stitches. When I'm gay cause I hate. Don't be nice to me, I've had it with girls, and I'll still be mad at the world, even if it apologized to me.
Each one hinted at what Eminem seemed to know about how things moved behind the scenes. The pattern started early. Back in 1996, on a track called Effing Crazy, a young Eminem was already taking aim at the bad boy empire, suggesting he could step into Puff's space and shake things up. At the time, most people brushed it off as battle rap energy. But looking back, that verse doesn't feel random at all. It looks more like the opening shot of a quiet, long-running rivalry. Once Eminem hit full mainstream status, the shots stopped being subtle. They got direct. On the Marshall Mathers LP, he openly dismissed Diddy. No coded bars, no hiding it. Then on I'm Back, Eminem pushed it even further. He referenced Diddy's very public relationship with Jennifer Lopez, basically implying he could take her if he wanted, and that Diddy would just have to deal with it. That wasn't just shock value. That was a deliberate provocation. What made these shots different from normal rap beef was the consistency. Most artists fire once, feel the heat, then fall back when the pressure shows up. Eminem did the opposite. Album after album, year after year, he kept Diddy's name in rotation, and Diddy never really responded. Stop and think about that. In hip-hop, getting called out by name usually brings a reaction, especially when it's someone on Eminem's level. Silence doesn't always read like strength in that world. Sometimes it reads like avoidance. And Diddy staying quiet told its own story. It suggested a different power dynamic than people expected. Eminem wasn't just throwing insults for attention, he was challenging Diddy's image in real time. Every unanswered line chipped away at that untouchable aura. It made Diddy look more cautious, more careful, more selective about what he wanted to engage. This wasn't just punchlines or shock bars. It was pressure, psychological, strategic. Eminem used his platform to show that even with money, influence, and connections, Diddy didn't want to step into that situation. Why? Because M had real backing, strong alliances, and nothing to prove. And Diddy knew responding could open a door he couldn't fully control. But Eminem's pressure was about to hit a whole new level. In 2018, everything shifted. Machine Gun Kelly went at Eminem, and M responded with a track designed to shut the situation down completely, and it worked. MGK's momentum took a clear hit. But buried inside that response was a line that had nothing to do with MGK and everything to do with Diddy. Eminem dropped what many fans still call one of the most shocking lyric moments in modern hip-hop. In a diss aimed at someone else, he made a reference that connected Diddy to one of the most sensitive topics in rap history, Tupac Shakur. The bar caught everyone off guard. Eminem implied that the day MGK would drop a real hit would be the same day Diddy would admit involvement in what happened to Pac. Then he followed it with, "I'm just playing, Diddy, you know I love you." But by then, it was already said. Think about how bold that was. Eminem casually referenced one of hip-hop's most controversial subjects and tied it to one of the most powerful figures in the industry, on a song heard by millions. And he did it calmly, almost effortlessly, like he wasn't worried about any fallout. It didn't feel random, it felt deliberate. The reaction was instant. The hip-hop world went into overdrive. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. Fans replayed the lyric over and over. Industry conversations went quiet, then loud behind closed doors. Everyone was asking the same question. Did Eminem really just say that? And the bigger question, why didn't Diddy respond? At that point, this wasn't a normal diss anymore. It was Eminem showing he could say almost anything about Diddy, on a record, in public, and nothing would come back his way. No response track, no legal noise, no industry pushback, just silence. And that silence said more than any reply ever could. That's when it started clicking for people. This wasn't just strategy or quiet restraint. Diddy didn't want to engage. Because if Eminem was bold enough to publicly touch one of hip-hop's most sensitive subjects, people started asking, what else might he know? And how far would he really go? After the Killshot moment, things shifted behind the scenes. Other industry power players began watching closely, and what they saw confirmed something many already suspected. Eminem moved by a completely different set of rules. The traditional hip-hop power structure is simple. Moguls control careers through radio, connections, and favors. Cross them, and things quietly stop working. Songs don't get played, features disappear, doors close. It's a system that's kept artists in line for decades. But Eminem never fit into that system. His success didn't rely on mogul approval or industry politics. He built everything off raw skill, a loyal fan base, and independence most artists never reach. So when Eminem went at Diddy, nothing happened. No fallout, no punishment. Because there couldn't be. The usual tools, blacklisting, radio pressure, quiet behind-the-scenes moves, didn't work on someone who never needed them in the first place. And that created a serious problem for Diddy. For the first time, he was dealing with someone he couldn't control, couldn't silence, and couldn't pressure using the traditional playbook. Eminem had the one thing moguls fear more than anything else: total creative freedom, financial independence. Once that kind of power is exposed, intimidation stops working. Behind the scenes, industry insiders started whispering. A figure known for controlling narratives and shutting down opposition was being openly challenged by someone who looked completely untouchable. And every day, Diddy stayed silent only made it worse. The longer it went on, the weaker that image looked. The shift was obvious to anyone paying attention. Eminem wasn't dissing for shock value. He was proving the old rules didn't apply to him. And that realization sent a message through the industry. The game had changed. Some players were no longer under mogul control. But the moment that truly gave weight to Eminem's long-running hints came in November 2023. That's when things he'd been alluding to for years suddenly moved into the public spotlight. Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, accusing him of serious misconduct, long-term abuse, and using control tactics within their relationship. The claims described behavior that sharply contrasted with the polished bad boy image the public had known for decades. Within 24 hours, the case was settled for a reported $20 million. The speed of that settlement caught everyone's attention. While it was meant to close the situation quickly, the impact was already out there, and it couldn't be undone. Public opinion shifted almost overnight. Suddenly, Eminem's past lyrics didn't sound like random shock bars anymore. Fans who had tracked his lines over the years began connecting dots. The references, the hints about control, the repeated warnings about what might be happening behind the scenes. Those lines started sounding less like exaggeration and more like signals hiding in plain sight. For a lot of people, that was the chilling realization. Eminem wasn't guessing. He was saying things others wouldn't or couldn't say out loud. The settlement sent a message across the industry. While many celebrated Diddy's success and ignored rumors for years, Eminem had been consistently calling attention to darker undertones through his music. And now, those long-ignored warnings were reflected in official court filings. But here's what really stood out to people. Even after public opinion shifted, even after the Cassie lawsuit lined up with things Eminem had been hinting at for years, Diddy still never responded. No defamation claim, no public pushback, no visible industry pressure, just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. To many observers, it suggested Diddy knew Eminem wasn't bluffing. More than that, it raised a bigger question. What else might Eminem know, and what would happen if he decided to say it outright? The most unsettling moment in this timeline came in July 2024. That's when Eminem released The Death of Slim Shady, an album many fans now call one of his most prophetic. On the track Fuel, listeners immediately picked up on a specific wordplay moment, spelling rapper without the P while referencing serious misconduct. The bars were sharp, deliberate, and hard to miss. Fans knew exactly who he was pointing at. What made it even more chilling was the timing. The song dropped months before authorities publicly moved against Diddy. While investigators were reportedly building their case behind the scenes, Eminem was already addressing the exact type of allegations that would later dominate headlines. To fans, it didn't feel random. It didn't feel accidental. It felt like a warning. When federal charges were later announced and Sean Combs was taken into custody in September 2024, a lot of people felt the same realization hit at once. This wasn't something that happened overnight. The hip-hop world had been watching this tension build for nearly 3 decades, and only at the end did the full picture come into focus. Eminem wasn't just dissing Diddy. To a lot of people watching closely, it looks like he was calling things out the entire time, hiding warnings in plain sight long before anyone else was willing to say anything. What once sounded like shock bars now feels different, more intentional, more calculated. And when you line everything up, the silence, the timing, and the lyrics all start telling the same story. If this breakdown opened your eyes or made you look at hip-hop history a little differently, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Eminem knew more than he ever said? Support the Mictrip channel and let us know what story you want uncovered next.